Rebecca brings everything to work, but even more than her clinical expertise, she brings her faith, and it really comes alive in what she does day in and day out. So thank you, Rebecca.
I'm kind of, I don't know, I feel like I'm shaking. Thank you very much.
The value of service was called out a couple of times, and recognizing the leadership that you've stood up in that building for the last 28 years, serving the society. That speaks a lot, just as much as what you led through in the last year. So thank you for what you did, what you've done, and what you'll continue to do for the society, for your team members, and for the residents you serve.
Thanks so much for coming and talking to me.
You're welcome.
Rebecca is just going to make sure that the best quality care is being provided to the neighbors who reside here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
She looks at each neighbor we have here as an individual. She wants to make sure they're treated to the highest standard that anyone could give them treatment. And she treats all of them like one of her family members.
She takes the time to get to know people and what they need and respects that.
Rebecca is always there for us. She has our backs as nurses. She listens.
She has high expectations.
I'm just trying to be, honestly, the hands and feet of Jesus, and my teammates here, they're all equally remarkable in the way that they care for people and for one another. They're all heroes in my eyes, and they're all Ever Forward champions in my eyes.
Rebecca's faith is big enough for herself and others, and she shares that.
Dear Heavenly Father, I really appreciate the mission of Good Samaritan and the fact that we can pray with one another.
You're so kind.
The fact that we can openly just be ourselves and share our pains and our hurts. We don't have to pretend that stuff outside of here is always okay, and we can support each other through that.
I never asked for a crisis or a tragic event to occur. However, we had that experience last fall.
I was actually still here at work that evening. It was shortly before 6 o'clock.
I was the charge nurse that day when we got the phone call.
Unfortunately, I was homesick with COVID.
The nurse at the time came and found me and just said, "You need to take this phone call."
There's an active shooter in the community.
I could just tell by the expression on her face and things when she came out of her office that it was bad.
The facility was instructed to go into immediate lockdown.
We came out here and just, in a loud voice, kind of said we need to take some shelter, and all of the staff just pitched in, and the residents, and we were out of here within probably 5 minutes and sheltering in place.
Locked doors, things like that, and basically just were together praying.
You know, really didn't think about what was happening or could be happening in the moment.
The word was getting out.
By this time it was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
There was a loss of life. 2 of those who were shot and killed were co-workers.
Angela and Diane had passed away. I just sobbed. I wept hysterically. I was alone in my office, and there just were no words. But tried to pull myself together because I knew I needed to let the staff know.
There was a lot of sadness and a lot of fear in people's hearts, and Rebecca led people.
We just pulled everyone together in the hallway, and I let them know, and we just prayed.
After the crisis, she felt it important for her to call each and every employee that worked here to let them know what had occurred.
I could have never done what she did that night. She just stood strong as a rock and knew what to do.
In her message, she said, "We will get through this. God will be here with us."
The next day when it came, she was a rock for everyone here.
She was here early, and the rest of the Good Samaritan Society leaders were here early that day. That was huge.
I've never experienced anything so difficult.
She stepped up for everyone in the building and those outside in the community, making sure that everyone was okay and praying hard.
There are still moments of sadness.
We still remember the hard times.
Missing our coworkers and our friends.
We know we can get through hard times. It takes a leader to back us up, and she is that person.
My grandma gave me a verse when I was in 8th grade, and it's become my life verse, and it's Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He will direct your paths. And so He directed my path out here to Scotland to the Good Samaritan, and He's directed my life, and He's blessed me so much with my husband, my family, my 3 boys, my work family, all of the residents that I've met over 28 years. There's been so many. There's just no better calling.